You are most welcome this rainy and extremely windy day, at least in Kalmar. I don't know, Diego, how the weather is outside your window. Probably
Raining a little bit,
rainy,
at least a few
windy.
minutes ago. Now cloudy.
Yeah. No. Oh, here it's cloudy as well. But we
Yeah.
need to appreciate the wind now because makes the energy prices really low. So
Yeah.
so perfect. Now we can create a lot of service with a better
Yeah.
conscience than before when they were expensive. So we are in already in the third course week of the course. We have been hard at work. I know that Mats is deep down in Terraform configuration, and I unfortunately haven't been able to look at Terraform yet. That's
No, me
I
neither.
need to. Yeah, I really need to do that after the Tech Heads conference this week. I will
Yeah.
dive into Terraform because that's a must for me. But I thought that I could start off by trying to just summarize where we are, and then Diego, you will have to stop me if I'm totally wrong on this. But just to start, I mean, what is the end goal with this? This is kind of what you said last week, that the goal is to be able to create a lot of servers and just remove them and add more servers that gets in the same state more or less that all the time, so that we get a what's the English word?
Recreatable.
Yeah, recreatable and predictable outcome all the
Reliable.
time. Yeah, of how the infrastructure is, and I guess that after a few steps we can also start looking at scaling and being able to, I mean, scale out our software on different servers, and then we want to be able to recreate servers in the exact same way. And we started off by doing this kind of manually in CS Cloud by just writing bash scripts against CS Cloud's API and creating those machines. That is basically the second step, because you could have a step before that, in that you log into CS Cloud, you create the server by pointing and clicking, adding it to a network, adding the security groups and things like that. And you can do that. However, the problem with that approach is that you will start to forget one or two steps, and then you have to troubleshoot, and oh, I forgot to connect it to a router. Okay, the network isn't connected to a router, then I need to do that. So by instead doing this in bash by code, we can kind of just have a workflow that we do this and this, then this and this command, and if we do those 10 commands in a row, it will produce the same outcome as last time. Then we start to realize that, okay, the problem with this approach is if I run it 2 times with the same names, for instance, then it will try to create things that are already created. So then we need to do, should we call it now the Sebastian way of creating like a script which which has start to look at, okay, if this is already created, then I shouldn't create it, and then I should go to the next line. But that becomes kind of messy quite fast, because there are a lot of things that you will not take into consideration. And this is where Terraform comes in. So instead of creating those big bash scripts where we need to think about everything, we can use Terraform to make those conditions for us. And we just need to configure and say we need the just. I don't know if it's just, but we need to configure and say we want those kinds of servers. They should be like this and this. And then Terraform can take the process of tearing down and creating new servers and things like that. Is that summarizing it well, or do I miss some key points here?
Yeah, summarizing well. Yes.
Yeah.
We are in the first week we did both infrastructure provisioning and server configuration manually, and last week we concentrated only on the infrastructure provision. So we didn't configure our servers, but we created them using Terraform. So it's a reliable way to define what we want. So everybody can know what we are going to create, and it will always create the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you said something there. That's a problem actually, because I mean, the first week we created the machines and then we SSH it into the machines and we maybe installed Nginx or Apache and like there is a lot of work to be done when the machines are up and running. And Terraform doesn't care about that, I guess. It just creates the machines and then, yep, I'm done.
Yeah, we could force as well, but
Yeah.
we are going to change tool for doing that.
Yeah.
But we could force Terraform.
Yeah. So the next step now is to actually look at how can we also you were using a good word that I forgot
Provision.
for provisioning the servers, right? To get them into a state that we want the server to be, for instance, with a web server or whatever.
Yeah.
So that is the goal of the week, or
Yeah, the goal for this week is to configure, to install the software that we want to run on the servers, to configure that software, and then to also transfer our data, our application data.
Yep. And then if we do not do that by just logging into the server and installing, I guess. Yeah.
So this week we are going to automate the second part of what we did manually the first week with the
Perfect.
SSP. Yeah.
My mouse battery died, so I don't have a mouse. I need to just charge it a bit. So, but I think you can control and share screen, I think.
Okay. Do you want me to share now?
Yeah, if you have, I don't know, you're usually good at having presentations.
Yeah,
so
I
I
have
thought that you maybe
a
have
few slides for expectations for the week. Share screen this one, and go to presentation mode.
Before you start, I can just answer Maria's question. She asked, what is Tech Heads? We actually talked about Tech Heads this spring. It's a conference in Kalmar, a dev conference in Kalmar. I know that some of you are coming to the conference, but it's too late, unfortunately, to sign up now, and you need to be in Kalmar. It's not streamed at all. It's not part of the university. It's a private conference. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. First, a bit of recap from last week. There have been quite good feelings with the Terraform. So we had a seminar yesterday to fix some issues, but they were minor and just a few students. So all the rest, have shown like nice flow. For instance, in week 1 there were more problems installing the command line interface or using the OpenStack commands, but this week with Terraform there have been many less questions and doubts. So the flow has been smoother. So yeah, what is expected for this week? We are going to automate the configuration of our servers. There are no new links for the theory, so you can, if you have not finished it, reading and watching the infrastructure as code principles, benefits, and what it is, and this, continue, because this week is on infrastructure as code too. And as
and I really want to stress that, I mean, in your PowerPoint last week, and it's also on GitLab, I placed it there. There are links to recordings and to under the theory part. So make sure that you watch those, because they give also an introduction to those tools.
Yep. And yeah, for the practice part this week, we will get familiarity with a tool that makes the configuration of the server automatic. And now in configuration, I'm including installing the software. So for instance, the Nginx or the Apache web server that we were installing manually before, configure the software that we have installed, that in this case, and as a simple configuration exercise, we can change the port where the servers are listening by default. And then we will also transfer our data to the server. So that will be for instance, our website. That in this case was a simple, like some static files. Yeah, so what we are going to do this week complements what we did last week, and then we will complete the flow from not having any infrastructure to use Terraform to provision the infrastructure. And we will have network, servers, and IPs and security groups, and then we will configure the servers that we have created with Terraform, and we will configure them. Sorry, it's the same. We will configure them using Ansible tool. This is a open source tool, and yeah, we will be based on that, and it works quite well together with Terraform. So for the whole process, we divide some responsibility to Terraform as we did last week, and the remaining is going to be done by Ansible. So what do I expect from you until the seminar in which I will show this live? That I expect that you install Ansible in your machine, so you can already exercise it during the seminar when we are doing the live things. You have there the link to install. When in that installation guide says control node, this will be your machine. So the same machine where you install Terraform. Ansible works better with Linux-based systems. So I saw that for Windows there may be some issues. So if your machine does not meet the requirements, then install Ansible somewhere else. So for instance, create an Ubuntu machine on the CS Cloud, as we have been doing many times now, with your Terraform script, and install. Connect via SSH to that machine and install Ansible there. And then you will be able to exercise during the seminar.
And that is actually kind of a good pattern to do, to actually create a machine in the CS Cloud which only is used for maybe running tools like Ansible, Terraform, and create all other infrastructure. So that could actually be a good way of handling that.
Yeah. As a brief starting point, as for Terraform, we were writing TF files that define the infrastructure that we wanted. Now in Ansible, we are going to write some files that are called playbooks, and they contain the instructions to configure the infrastructure. These playbooks follow the YAML syntax. Maybe you are already familiar with that, and you have used some other tools that follow that syntax. And the .tf files, together with these YAML files, will be our infrastructure as code. So some part will be given to Terraform, and some part will be given to Ansible, and we will be able to create and configure our infrastructure.
Since I haven't done the Terraform part yet, what is the format of the TF files? Is it JSON or is it? I'm looking at Mats as well.
Yeah.
Or is it it's a proprietary format that only Terraform uses, or?
Well, I don't know. Really?
What does it look like?
Look at it. It looks like JSON,
yeah,
but it's not.
Okay. So some kind of own format.
I cannot pinpoint the difference precisely. So, but with the curly brackets and this looks like,
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you are not familiar with YAML yet, I mean, we could probably say that the two big data formats to use for configuring stuff, it's either JSON or YAML. Maybe there is a third that I don't think about right now, but it's pretty common, and you will know that or see that later on when we start configuring pipelines and things like that in GitLab. That is YAML as well, and it's really sensitive for right. Is it spaces or is it tabs? I don't remember, but
that also differs. Sometimes it accepts both, but YAML is really getting a lot more use lately. I think it's gaining ground quite fast.
Yeah. So it's something you should, as a developer, know either way. So look at that. But just be aware that it's indentation matters in YAML.
It's like Python.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm sharing a screen and I don't see you. So
okay.
So this is the basic starting point for Friday seminar. You arrive with a machine where you have installed Ansible. Then during that seminar, we will see how to install software, how to write the YAML files to install software, to configure it, and to put our website. So if you want to arrive in a better status, not only having installed it, you can follow a couple of Hello World cases that are on the internet. So there are a couple of examples that just one just prints Hello World and the other just copies a file to a server and the file contains Hello World. And the first link has a step-by-step also to install the Ansible. And since you are creating machines where your keeper is already defined when you create the machine, you can skip the step for .a because your host already accepts your private key. So if this would be a plus. If you arrive to on Friday and you have already tried this Hello World, you will see that the seminar will go quite smoothly for you. And even more, Johan?
No, I just had a question. I'm just how everything fits together. So I guess that those Ansible playbooks, you can execute them from Terraform, or do you do them like you first build the infrastructure with Terraform, and after that you run the playbooks from Ansible, or how does that fit together?
We can do both, and we will do both. So during the seminar, I will show you that you can put it in a Terraform part, in an execution in Terraform, inside the TF. So there is then a command like, okay, now execute the Ansible playbook, or we can do it separately.
Yep.
So first, Terraform executes completely and exits, and then there is another command, execute the playbook.
Great.
This it's not so bad to have them separated, because when we execute the Terraform, so far we have seen it to create the infrastructure the first time, but not to apply the Terraform continuously or periodically to keep the resources as we want. But for the Ansible, we may want to execute the Ansible playbooks more often than we execute the Terraform resource creation, just to keep versions how we want and to keep the configuration of our system as we want. So then we will see also the option to execute it separated, so we can execute it more often.
Okay, so Ansible is used for installation on a new machine, but also for later on updating and upgrading to newer versions.
Yeah, since we declare the status of the configuration, we can apply as often as we want to be sure that our system is in the configuration that we want. Not only for updates, but maybe we want to execute periodically in case that some user has created some there are some users that should not be there. So if we apply the playbook often, we clean. Yeah, another option would be to destroy and recreate as well. Yep. So this would be the plus point if you arrive on Friday and you have already tried these two hello words, and even more if you want to arrive being familiar with terminology and concepts like playbooks and other concepts of Ansible. Here you have also 3 links that explains what is a playbook and other concepts. And then there the full guide. But yeah, if you are interested, you can start reading it. But if you feel lost, stop, because we will explain things on Friday. You don't have to suffer with the guide. When you understand it, great. When you don't, stop. Yeah, this is all.
Great, thank you. And now the Friday seminar is in the schedule. As you know, I think we scheduled it for 13:15, maybe in the afternoon. I don't remember, but it should be in the schedule. And maybe we should actually, since we are kind of building the plane as it flies in this course, we should maybe look ahead for next week actually, and just schedule. If there is something similar next week, we could schedule it already now, so that everybody knows. I mean, we have a stand-up next week at Wednesday, normal time Wednesday, 9:15. It's a little bit special this week since Tech Heads. And do we have a time for? Do you need some kind of? Do you know, Diego, if you need a seminar even next week, or
it would be good.
Yeah. And what is the best time for that, you think, for everybody? Is it Wednesday afternoon that works best for you? I think we have said that before, at least.
Yeah, I'm happy with that slot.
Yeah,
Wednesday afternoon.
I should just make a check so that no one is screaming yet, but maybe there is something else in the schedule. I need to just make sure that there is not. Why can't I see that? Web.
We will next week. We will create our first pipeline for the continuous integration. So when we do a push to our code, it will go to one of our servers that we have created, and it will execute some tests, and then it will be green or red.
Yeah, nice. Looking forward to that. I don't remember the course code of the course that is in parallel. But preliminary, we will say Wednesday afternoon for a seminar, and I will plan that into the schedule. If there is a scheduling problem, we'll have to get back on another time. But that is the plan for right now. I would also like to just address, since Maria, you asked about the Tech Heads. I know that some of you are joining us on Tech Heads, so I just want to, there we are, just show a bit of the topics. Maybe you have heard Anne-Marie Eklund Levinder on she was sommarpratade. She had a summer speech in the radio this summer about the keys to the internet. She's one of the ones that has access to the root DNS service on the internet. So she will be there as a keynote speaker. Also Anders Apteg, that is working at the Swedish Security Service, SÄPO, right now with AI and stuff. And he's a former student to you, Mats, or?
Yep.
Yep. So he's coming back. It's always fun to listen to Anders. And then I would actually want to stress one other point, or one other key, not a keynote, but a speech that is this one. At 15:30 tomorrow, we have infrastructure as code in practice, how do you really do it. It's not part of the course, but it's aligned with the course. So if you're here, please listen in to Andreas and Henrik. Andreas has taken this course, or the predecessor to this course, for I think it was like 3 years ago or something like that. He's now working at Every, and Henrik Lejon we have used as a guest lecturer, also working with infrastructure as code. So please mark this one if you're not really into the future of Android user interface development and the programming prac. But this one, I should think I will be on this one at least.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So that was just I'm not sure how many that are actually joining, but I know some of you are. So. And sorry, it's not an online event at all, so it will not be possible. But maybe I can talk to Andreas, and maybe he can actually come back and do. Well, that's a good. They could have that talk for this course actually. If we can see if it fits, and then he can just be a guest lecturer and do the talk in the course. So. But then everybody should go to Android instead, because they will get
no. Maybe next year.
Yeah, we will see. But we will try to. I will talk to Andreas. He's probably really positive in doing a guest lecture. So that would be nice. Okay, then we know what to do. I will stress that look at the theory parts from last week as well, if you haven't already. I just scrolled through, and there are some interesting topics there, so don't miss out on those, because they will give you kind of the framework also for those tools that we are using. And next stop is Friday and the seminar, and at least have Ansible installed by then would be a good plan, I think. Okay, anything to add?
I'm installing it on Windows.
You're installing Ansible on Windows, so
no,
it
kind of.
Kind of, yeah. We will see. Yeah, the Linux subsystem. Then it probably will work. Maybe.
Yeah, I thought there was a Docker container for it also, so you could probably use a Docker container on Windows.
Yep, that's also. There are many options.
Many options.
Yeah. Okay, good. There are no questions, right? No, there was only the one from Maria. So. And no on YouTube as well. So okay, see you around, and have a pleasant week. Bye.